All right, today let's talk about the hit reacts in games and how I distribute motion throughout the body. So, when I was working in some AAA game studios, we would do these animations where we would call them hit reacts, like overlay body hit reacts, where let's say your character is in a pose like this in an idol. Let's say he's a big character, he gets hit in the head, and there would be this kind of motion that shows that he got hit in the head there. So let me animate something really quick. It would look something like this, where it would be a short animation, something like that. That would be the overlay of the head, let's say, and we would do this for different body parts. However, like whenever we do this on our characters as an overlay in the game engine, sometimes it would look very isolated. Whenever you hit something, you expect different body parts to react. So this is one example of a bad animation where, if you put this on top of a running character, a walking character, an idling character, seeing the head only getting affected is good, but it would be better if the spine reacted as well. So you can go there, you can start animating. Let me bring these into world space really quick. Put a knot orient on them. So what if our character got affected here as well? So that looks better, right? It's a big mass, so it's going to be a little bit slower. And I can distribute that motion by hand keying. I can go down here and even do something like that. Make that part even heavier. So we would take this motion and we would just literally put it on an animation layer or just export it like this on top of an A pose or a T pose. T pose would be something like this, where you start from this pose. Let me put that in animation layer. You would start from this pose and we would just literally export that area. And we had the option of exporting, like telling the game engine, the bones in the game engine, to how much to be affected. So we would pick spine 1, spine 2. We would say, okay, you're going to be affected 25%. You could do this in the game engine as well. So this is a good way. You can do this by hand. You saw it was pretty quick. But there's a better way that I want to show you today, and we're going to use a different character for that. Let's use a creature. Let me go open up a new scene here. Companion X, I think. Yep. So let's say we have this character idling here. This is his base pose of this creature. And let's animate him getting hits from screen right, from his left. Let's animate like a headshot. What if he gets shot right around here? So we can animate that really quick. So I'm just going to animate what's the main driver here, and I'm going to show you how to distribute this motion throughout the body for free. So let's say he gets hit there. Let's say he's a bigger character. Let's use some translation as well. Why not? Exaggerate that. And then he goes back to 0. So whenever you export this animation as well, we don't export it from frame 0. We usually export it from the extreme of that pose. So I would take it and export it from frame 2. So whenever the bullet hits, we want a very responsive animation. So it's better to start the animation from here. If I export it from here, the bullet will hit, and then he will like go into that pose, and then, it will look bad. So okay, so that's the main driver of where he gets hit. And I can use some tricks to distribute this motion throughout the body by borrowing the motion from the head there. Okay, so let's put a let me make this better. Let's add this to an animation layer. Exaggerate this a little bit more. Maybe he can shake his head a little bit. And then here he goes back to 0. Yeah, that looks better. Looks more impactful. So how can I take that motion and distribute it throughout the body? Couple ways to do this. We can put a locator there, and I'm going to use snapshot object. This locator is not doing anything. It's just a temporary locator to borrow motion from. So let me make that bigger. So if I move that locator, it's not attached to anything, okay? And what if I want to put this motion onto the spine? Let's put a knot on this one, the spine. Make it bigger. And let me change the background so you see it. This one controls that spine. And I'm going to go select the spine and then select the head, that head locator that we just created, and I'm going to hit inside. So it's basically going to do the same thing. It's not going to move, but it's going to counter animate itself to stay there because I put it inside the head space. Okay. So let me show you another trick. If I delete this animation on the chest, the head and the spine will do the same thing, but it doesn't look very natural. It's not offsetted. It looks somewhat okay, but everything is moving at the same time, and I want to have less motion there than the head, right? Because it's a heavier object. And the way I look at hit reacts is, if you're getting hit from this location, just like the water, whenever you throw a rock in water, you will see the ripple effect, right? So I'm looking at the closest thing to the head, the chest, right? The chest will be affected first, and then this will get less and less. Maybe it will affect his this area, and then the tail, and then even the legs. So for now, I'm just going to do the spine. So remember, if I go to my graph editor, it's, since I put it inside there, it's counter animating itself to stay in that position. So check this out. Let's bring this to frame 50. Let's add this locator to an animation layer. Select that layer. Shift select this whole timeline. And let's go to key tools here. And let's click all. Click all. Now, it's acting like I just deleted the motion there. Okay, so check this out. And one is the full motion. If I go 50%, I will get 50% of that motion there from the head. And I can play around with this real time. You can get real-time feedback as the animation is playing. So in this case, I like 30% is good. If I like that, I can merge that layer, and now I have that motion there. Okay, and I can, put this back into world space. Let me delete this thing here. I can put it back into world space, so it's not attached to this anymore. I can get rid of this, and now I can even offset this curve 2 frames so it's lagging behind, just like the ripple effect. So let's offset it 2 frames with this button here. 1, 2. So the head is leading the motion and the body is following. It's lagging 2 frames. If I want to make that slower, I can grab this whole curve like this I can even drag it this way to make it even slower. So you feel the weight there more in the spine, in the chest area. Okay? So I can even offset, I can even export this and put it on my character whenever and test my hit react exporting from frame 2. So let's work down the spine again. Select this. Let's select this locator and let's do, let's put another object there, or we can bake it back to the original rig and get rid of that locator. And let's do the same thing. Let's put this object on it, make it bigger, and let's put it on this one. So let's grab that, put a locator on the hips. Same thing again, put that one inside this one. So inside is just a parent, but it doesn't break your animation. Okay, so it won't do anything. If I delete the animation on it, it will move the whole butt. But we don't want that, so we're going to grab this, add that to an animation layer, shift select the whole timeline, and we're going to do all again. And we're going to bring this down to what we like. Yeah, that looks good to me. I can put that into world again. Let's merge the layer first. Put it into world. Delete that locator. Now I can even offset this 2 frames, 1, 2. So that will lag 2 more frames from the chest. Okay. And we can even make that heavier, lighter, however you want it. We can add rotations by using aim constraints. Let's grab that. Let's put an aim constraint here, and then another aim constraint here. We can even offset the rotations. So 1, 2. We can get a little bit of rotation on the hips there. Let me really zoom in so you see it. So this is ready to go to export into the, on top of our run cycle or idle. Let's say he's idling, you shoot him in the head. It will play on top of whatever animation you have.